Hi, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Trident Talks. I'm Josh, the director here at Trident, and today I'm very pleased to say we are joined by Yochai Corem, the chief exec at Cyberint. Yochai, welcome.
Thanks, Josh. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. Very good to see you. Yochai, please tell the audience, the listeners, the viewers, who are you? What's your background? And how did you get to become the chief exec at Cyberint?
Well, a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work, right? Probably that's the right combination. I've been working in the cyber domain for the last 20-something years. I guess my service in the Israeli A200 was what changed or created my career path. And I'm still, doing my reserves time as an intelligence officer. Okay. And yeah, it's the same DNA, right? Threat intelligence, digital risk protection, or military intelligence are very similar in the sense that you need to find the data points. That's layer one. Layer two, then connect them into some picture of what does it actually mean. And then layer three, which is the most important for any intelligence person, is to come up with the clear recommendations that will change the course of action of the unit you are serving, so they can make a more effective, decisions and be more relevant to the market. In the military world, it means identifying there is an anti-tank missile targeting you, identifying that's part of an ambush, because there are other things you don't see, and then telling the brigade commander, for example, you need to go through a different route and not get through the ambush, right? And that's also what I believe we want to do in cyber. So that's maybe going back to your question, one element of where I'm coming from. And then I went through product, many years in product development, product management, understanding what the customer wants, and how to lead big groups of developers to make that into a finalized product. From that, moved to business, doing business development sales for the last 6 years in various companies based in Israel, working a lot in EMEA, in APAC, and in the US. So I think quite global view. And then the board of Cyberint gave me a call and say, "Hey, what do you think about joining Cyberint?" I said, "You know what? That's actually a great fit for my background and my belief that we want to take data and make it into intelligence and something you can make decisions with." And that's my background. I have grade 3 kids, which are COVID times with me at home today, learning in parallel the English lessons. This is the guy, so I know it's because I so used to be every second week on the roads. Multiple frequent flyer programs, etc. So it is really enjoyable to be with them at home and see the day-to-day more than in the past.
Balancing CEO life, running a business, and teaching little ones, homeschooling. Yeah, it's a tough balance, but I'm sure you'll be back on the road again, missing the kids before you know it.
And it's good, missing them and they miss me. It's a good thing, right? So
yeah,
you appreciate more what you don't have sometimes.
Agreed. Yeah, totally agree. So, okay, awesome. Thank you for the intro and the background. Tell me about 8200. So you're still a reservist. You're an officer, if I believe.
Correct.
You're
yes.
leading men, leading women. How does it, I suppose, is it a cyber role within 8200? Or so you spoke about the parallels between looking like an anti-tank missile and providing intel to a brigade commander, etc., to take action. And it's so similar to the CTI world you currently work in. So are you still quite active, I suppose, is the question, as a reservist?
Yeah, so I do something like 2-3 weeks a year. I see that as a patriotic element and contributing to my country at the end of the day, and trying to make the world a little bit safer place. And I think 8200 is actually, Israel is blessed. There are many challenges we have, but I think in general, I'm blessed to be an Israeli citizen and proud of that very much. And 8200 is an interesting unit because it was able on one hand to take the brightest people. And, I was 18 years old, only high school is my background, right? No other experience. Gave me half a year of training, including various technical and linguistics and leadership skills that when 18 and a half, I was actually already in a position to command a group of very smart soldiers as well, and trying to lead innovation at the end of the day. And the skills I got there is one, to not be afraid, to push forward, to take information and really make it into a result that a consumer on the other side, of course, we have different types of consumers, can actually use it to their benefit. When I was 21 years old, I actually got to command a unit which was a startup laboratory. So I had something like 20 startups inside my teams, trying to innovate or innovate new products, a greenhouse for products, if you can say, right? Many of them failed, many of them did not succeed, but few of them really made a difference in bringing more capabilities to 8200. What I do exactly today, I will leave maybe not to this discussion, right? But I can definitely think there are many layers that are similar, right? Leading, you need to understand you don't know most of the things. You need to be always open for advices from your team, for other members of the group, and really enjoy.
I think also that's why there are so many successful cyber threat intel providers that come out of Israel, because of all the innovation, all of the leadership, all of the trial and errors, and the amount of failures you have in 8200, because it allows you to do so, and the successes and the wins, and you can take that into the private sector and support and protect companies, right?
I can tell you, I really encourage my people to fail. Yeah. And I just ask them not to fail to do the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
Okay, make mistakes. It's part of life. Try not. Even if you do it twice, try. It is okay to fail. Don't safeguard all of your actions. Don't blame when something make a mistake. That's part of being humankind. Just understand that you've made a mistake and try not to repeat it again. I think with that you grow as an organization.
Yeah, great leadership qualities. So let's move on to Cyberint. Tell us about the organization that you joined last summer, sort of end of summer. Who are Cyberint? Products, services, how big are you? Where are you based?
So we are about 80 people today, with offices in the US, UK, Singapore, Philippines, and headquarters in Israel. Fascinating company. The company itself was focused mostly on providing services for the last few years. So we believe that the best thing we can do to different organizations is actually augment their team. So we still have, of course, a great analyst team speaking different languages now to talk to threat actors, deeply rooted with avatars in the open, deep, and dark web, and on all of that. And through that time, we actually developed a tool that was used internally to do threat intelligence, or actually the term I prefer today is digital risk protection. I think Gartner and Forrester try to analyze the world and give it a little bit different terminology. I think digital risk protection is actually the right description of what we're doing. And our tagline is beyond digital risk protection, where we are doing that and threat intelligence and other elements. And we developed a platform called Argus, which for many years was used internally by our own team. So it's an MSSP-ready platform covering thousands of sources, digesting millions of pieces of raw data on a daily basis from many sources. And what we've done, and that was part of my part joining Cyberint, we decided to expose this platform, this magic, really, because that's what I felt when I went into that, to the general audience. So what Cyberint today is actually a product-led company. On one hand, we have Argus, a SaaS platform providing digital risk protection and threat intelligence to any users that want to use it itself. But we also have our services team, and which means we can provide a combination of the platform plus managed service on top to customers who do not have the manpower, the skills to do that themselves. And I can tell, I talked to a leading brand CISO in the US just a few weeks ago, and he told me, hey, I made a strategic decision not to have a team internally to do that. It's so hard to hire them, that's probably better than me, and then to retain them. Yeah. Right. So I prefer actually to outsource that in a whole to a company that's their profession. And I asked him, why did you choose Cyberint then? And he says, I did the POC, you've been the best. So I took you, right? You have the most, and that goes to the depth of the platform, the sources, the amount of information, the processes we have on top of that. And of course, I'm happy that was his answer.
Yeah, nice. Speaks volumes of the type of service that you offer. CTI generally is quite an infant market, right? It's still quite new, relatively new in the private sector. The tip market's been around longer than most, obviously, in terms of CTI, but it is slowly becoming more saturated. So having that USP or that differentiator is obviously going to become more and more important, right? So when you talk to customers, what are the challenges do you think they face? Why do they come to you? Why do they stay with you? I'm really keen to understand and kind of get under the hood of the business and Tell us more about that.
I would say in general, we are covering today 6 different areas of 6 different risks, business risks that different company faces. Okay. So one of them goes to the digital surface mapping and monitoring. So one of our modules in Argos, call it My Digital Presence, actually identifies the different digital assets an organization have, including IP subdomains and also cloud assets, and continuously scan for any potential weaknesses in the email configuration, in ports, and leaked data, etc., etc. So this actually is a risk that is relevant to all organizations as we become more digital. We have more digital interfaces, working from home, etc. So I'd say for any organization, any size or type, the data or the tech surface mapping and monitoring is a critical area. And in many cases, being able to identify, an open port or a misconfiguration in advance, and this is what we think we are providing preemptive intelligence or preemptive information. We are able to help the organization reduce the chance of being attacked. So that's one area. Data and ransomware as well is all relevant to almost all organizations. So compromised credentials, leaked data, sensitive information, and we found in various sources this is an area that is relevant to all. And then there are different organizations that brand can be a very important topic, from social media, profile impersonation, IP infringement, sentiment, etc. So this is one area both in social media and in other cases. Phishing, again, for any organization that is in the B2C business, that people are trying to use their brand in order to collect credentials. So phishing is a big area as well. Fraud, companies either in the financial or e-commerce. We have many e-commerce customers that are, it's amazing. And I ask myself sometimes why we have so much business. And the reason is that people sometimes are just not nice, to be honest. Put it very softly. Yeah. I look at my kids. Someone has a toy, the other kid wants the toy, and it just takes it, right? Why? Because he can, right? Because you want, right? So
human nature. Yeah.
Some company put up a nice campaign or new clothes or new, I don't know, something they are selling, and someone just want to get it for free or want to get it without paying or paying and then refunding it, and all kinds of those schemes. Right? And this is what we're doing on the fraud. So coupon fraud and carding and money laundering and all of those. So what Cyberint is doing is actually all of that together. I don't think there are many organizations who are able to provide that breadth and also depth of offering. Which means that it fits almost any organization that sees what we call protection out the perimeter as a relevant topic.
Why is that? Why can you offer such a breadth and depth of services, as well as the platform as well, Argos? Is it the quality of analysts? Is it because of the training at 8200 for a lot of people? Is it the locations where you work? How can you do that?
First of all, Cyberint exists for a few years already. So there is hundreds of man years that are put in a platform. Just like you cannot get a woman to make labor faster than 9 months, right? Even if you take 9 women, write it together, right? There's a nice phrase around that. Similar, you cannot build a robust CTI or digital risk protection platform quickly. So we have, again, 6 years experience just in the platform. An advantage that I would say that we have, that our analysts, which are coming with a lot of experience, operational field experience, these are not graduates from university. Many of them actually are before university, right? The system in Israel is that you finish your military service, you go to work for a few years, and then you go to university. That in many cases the situation, right? We get people 20, 21, 22, 23, and of course some of them are more experienced, already with 4 or 5 years in day-to-day experience in cybersecurity and threat intelligence and web intelligence, etc. And they're actually the primary users of our platform. For many years, these are the people that used to guide the R&D team on what they need to do. And by guiding, it means goes 20 meters to the other side of the hall and sitting with them together and say, hey, this is actually the problem I needed to solve. And creating these very quick loops of feedback between the problem and the people who can solve the problem technically brought us to have a very broad and very deep platform together. And this is the feedback we get from the people we presented to. Wow, you have all of that? Yeah. Yes, we have all of that, and we actually believe all of this combination together helps to prevent the business risk I described before. Also, I would say the human part is critical because some of the intelligence is not easily interpreted. Sometimes you need someone that can actually understand what it is the real business risk and translate it into a language that our customers can make an effective usage out of that. So this combination definitely is critical.
Yeah, regardless of what level the customer sits at as well, right? Technical level, strategic level on the board, or an analyst in front of a scene tool, they need to understand. It needs to be relevant for them, right?
I just came from a quarterly review with one of our customers, and in this review, we want to discuss few layers. First of all, on the intelligence layer, maybe I'll open a brackets here. Cyberint wants to provide what we call all-around intelligence discussion with the customer. So we have 3 layers. The first layer, which is the most important, is the actionable intelligence, right? Many customers, many vendors would say they provide actionable intelligence. In the essence, they are right. What's important is to provide those specific alerts, not noise, but the specific alerts about leaked credentials or carding attack or phishing websites or phishing kits around you, and what actually you need to do in order to remediate this risk. So this is layer 1. And we have analysts that supports our customer for that if they are not able to do it themselves. The second layer that we have actually established what we call desk managers or industry experts. So for each industry we serve, we have a person that actually is analyzing the intelligence from all of the customers in the same industry, and also looking at other organizations in that industry, which are not our customers today, to look for threat actors, to look for campaigns, to look for different techniques. And we provide, at least on a weekly basis, in recommendations on what to do that is related to other peers within the industry. And the third layer is what we call the global analysis on things that happens in general in the threat intelligence world, different campaigns. We have a monthly vulnerability recommendations we recommend to put attention or to invest time in, and others. So those 3 layers, and we work with in a quarterly briefing like that. On one hand, we have the CISO, sometimes the CIO. What does it mean to me? Should I go on a regular day-to-day action? Should I be worried? Should I invest? Where should my strategy? How should my strategy change according to the information we provide? And I do it myself, and I train my people. Many of them already trained, and they train me back. How we make this influence on the business of the organization, as we discussed in the beginning. We should not only provide data, we should provide information or intelligence helps to navigate the organization differently. Yeah. Is there a change? There's a trend. And then on the tactical level, of course, the technical aspects that are important as well.
Yeah, nice. That's what I love as well about yourself, Yochai, is you get involved on the quarterly meetings with the customers. I know that's just the way you are, and you're very client facing and leading by example. And it's not because of size of organization or anything. It's just because that's your personality and you want to support the customer and help them. I suppose it's nice to hear from my point of view to someone to lead by example and get involved at that level. And I know you do it with pretty much all your customers, right?
Yeah, I try to be. I think I spent a big part of my time talking to our customers. Sitting in my room today, it's not a room, it's from home, right? But sitting in my room in general and thinking I know best doesn't help me to get the company to the right place. I want to listen to our customers. Some organizations have customer obsessed in their tagline. We didn't put in our tagline, but I do think this is critical. So I want to be in those discussions. I want to see what my team has actually provided. How can I learn and be informed about the intelligence without reading and understanding? And I also want to see the customer reaction. Was that helpful? For me, what's critical is to see not only what we delivered, but what is the feedback coming from the customer. Was that a false alarm? Yep. Or that was a real effective? And also I trained them to ask, what did you do with that internally? Who are the other audience within the company that received this information? Is it the fraud team? Is it the management? Is it the marketing? Is it the HR? And with this feedback, I understand better what are the risks my customer are facing and how we can come up with solutions to help them be there. And when the customers knows that the CEO is involved and my team knows, the different that I'm involved and I care and I want to know the details, you can imagine that it brings us to be to the edge of our capabilities.
Agreed, totally agree. So Yochai, you're, as you said, right at the front of the industry, constantly involved in CTI day to day. From your point of view, what does it look like for the future of CTI? Are you seeing a lot around automation? Are you still seeing an element of it that you're going to always have to have the human involved, right? Just to analyze and contextualize the info and turn it into intel. In your words, what does it look like the future?
Again, I take it from my military background, right? Because it's a similar process. Intelligence cannot sit by itself. It has to influence the rest of the organization. So my question to myself and to my team is, how can we influence more? And you do that, by integrating to the different systems and processes the customer has. So this means doing it faster and doing more automatically and with more APIs and connecting to the different elements. In some cases, this is easy. Some cases, it's very difficult, but this is what we want to inspire to get more interconnected with the rest of the ecosystem of the customer. Again, not only technically, but also operationally, procedure-wise, etc. Secondly, how, the threat actors, there are some dark web markets today. There are more vendors than threat actors listening. So the question is where the threat actors are moving to, right? Where actually is the risk? Who is a threat actor today? Is it nations? Is it we threat actors actually are making more risk or creating risks to our customers, and how can we track them better? So that's always, I would say, a challenge for any intelligence organization. What are the sources and how can we interpret them? And for our perspective, the human element is always there. You cannot just provide an automatic alert. You can do that in some of the use cases, like credentials, open ports and other basic stuff you can really do automatically. There's no reason for a human touch to be there. But on some areas, going through code repositories and other things, you really need to understand it. So we looked at that future, and we actually created our offering for 2021. And we're talking at just beginning of February this year, to have those different packages. So different audience, those that do not need, they are not targeted, they just need the basic, could be 100% automated, and also not too expensive, and others that need a human touch very much into that element. So they get more data, and of course, then there is a reason for them to invest more in this area. So the future, to summarize, is see how more you influence the business and help the business be more secure, because our vision at the end of the day is to help business make, use the digital realm that we have today in a safe way. And so that's how can we influence it better?
I think another key element of CTI, or key element of the industry, it's going to keep coming up and it's becoming more important, is the blurred division or blurred lines between a nation state threat actor and a cyber criminal, because some of these nation states are doing cyber criminal acts for financial gain to fund nation activities, right?
Definitely, and as I says, there were two parts right to answer. One, how can we influence more and be more interconnected? But second is how we find more sources. And the sources include tracking the threat actors. And sometimes, exactly as you said, nation states are involved in other groups, even those groups are not aware it's a nation state threat actor, in order to allow them to be their face or to automate some things or to do simple malwares. And also sometimes there are mistakes, like nation state actors release vulnerabilities 0 days that are used by others that are very hard to close. We saw that in the last few years, few times. So definitely there is a mixture. And our responsibility on the global team and the targeted team is to look for both.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. Okay, so just to finish up, and finally, I ask all of our guests this question, Yochai. If you were not in cybersecurity, what would you be doing?
It's a great question. I like to do many things, right? So I just completed my private flight license this year. Yeah, so now I can, because of the restrictions of flights, I can take my own plane now. I like playing music. I play many instruments, and actually used to be a professional accordion player, if you could believe it or not. I'm a tour guide, so if you want to come over to Israel, I can. So I decided to have many potential professions, and I can do whatever I like. I can say I really enjoy Cyberint and taking the leadership here. But I believe that any person, I really encourage also my team and my Cyberint employees to have other things in life as well.
Yeah.
To have variety of ideas, and one influences the others. And we want to set up a band now in Cyberint. I can play a few instruments and really enjoy.
We can have
just wait for the lockdown.
We can have a CTI band.
Why not? Why not? You need to enjoy. We need to enjoy. We really, make we make the world a better place, right? And I think we need to enjoy the way doing so. And I really, that's what I'm just waiting for the lockdown to be released so we can, have more than 5 people together in a room, right, without the masks, etc. I've been vaccinated, so I hope
nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to have a CTI vendor concert gig That's what we're going to do. We're going to set one up.
That's the competition, right? Where's the best?
Awesome. Yochai, if I'm a customer watching this, where can I find Cyberint? How can I get in touch if I want to demo the product?
First of all, you can call me directly or email me directly. It's Yochai@cyberint.com, Yochai. You can find me in LinkedIn. You can go to our web. Yeah, we have website, and we measure how quickly we come back to our customers. We want to be agile and quick and responsive when you care. So just feel free, and happy to make a conversation with everyone. Right? I don't see that as I think it's an investment in time. Right? Talking to anyone who's interested in this world. We got to know one another, right? But just going out to the industry, and that's how we got together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just talking about the industry, and I think that's a great approach. Look, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure to have you on. I hope everyone's enjoyed listening and watching.
Thanks, Josh. Continue with the great work you're doing.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.